Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're going to talk about live parallel advertising. I just came about this recently and this is a very new technology, so I was shocked to discover this. So what exactly is the need of this parallel advertising? Well, reality is there are many events that are broadcasted to a global audience, meaning it could be broadcasted to China, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Europe, Africa, all at the same time, like FIFA, like cricket, F1, music festivals, award show, these sort of puppies. So they have global audience. Now here's the problem with that. They do sell ads, but here's the deal. A advertiser company will only be focused on what we call regional interest, meaning let's say there is Subway. There's not that much benefit of advertising Subway in India. While there is a one or two post is there where people can buy it, it's not that much. It's definitely not worth the advertisement cost that it will incur. So that creates an issue. You have a global thing and people do want to pay for it, but they don't want to pay too much because you're going to say, hey bro, I'm broadcasting to whole world. They're like, not that useful to me. I get it from a numbers point of view, it does matter, but again, if I don't have a interest there, what's the hell you gonna do? So generally they could have feeds. We can have MENA feed, Asia feed, Europe feed. They could have feeds. Now each of these feeds could have dedicated ad. If you can do that, if you can be like, hey, same footage, it has different feeds, different ads, more money. Specifically if you have region based, meaning for India static ads, for Pakistan specific ads, GG equals more money. Everything was about money, so this makes you more money. And this will also help people who are like, event sponsors, because you can go to this company will pay you a lot of money, but they cannot pay you infinite amount of money. However, if you go to 4 people, each of them, even if they are not paying to, like, let's say global rate, the rate that they will be paying would be almost 75% of what they're gonna pay if they were paying for globally. But now your grand total income is much higher. So event sponsors make a lot more money, players make a lot more money, so everybody is happy, and global audience gets ads that are relative to them. For example, many times if you have watched Olympic, especially if it's happening on a different country, you must have find like, what is that? And again, whether you like ads or not, it's a part of our life. If we do not see ads, it feels off to us, and you do not get the sense like, oh, I know that. It's like, no, we need that. So from a user point of view, that actually helps, especially for boring tournaments. It does kind of matter if you have ads that are like grounding you to, like, okay, this ad, I understand it, context does matter. So there is a need for it, especially from money point of view. So you may have a scenario like Coca-Cola is one, another rent a car on somewhere else, something else somewhere else. So that's the need. So you start with a camera. Now we are talking a pro level broadcast camera. There is not some basic baby camera. We are talking some big daddy camera, broadcast level. Now you have to understand there are two core technologies in sensor technology, CCD and CMOS. CCD is always superior. Like, wait a minute, then why don't we use it? Well, CCD kind of failed back in terms of technological development and low cost driving. CMOS beat slap that out of it, CCD. However, if you looked at someone who has like no money limitation, they will always choose CCD. Example, all space agency, all space basically observatories, most of them have CCD for this exact reason. CCD gives the best image. If your money is not an issue, build CCD. So broadcast camera till very recently, as early as 2010, many of them had CCD, and many of them had this puppy. There's this 3 CMOS system. So they had basically specific prism sort of a structure which we call beam splitter with a different spectrum. So this will get red, this will get blue, that will get green. Now that means you had 3 color data stream. There was no depairing algorithm, meaning it was far more efficient. And this puppy is making a comeback, like, because in the days of CMOS, because CMOS became so high resolution, it was not desirable. However, that does come with a consequence. You are faking color. Because again, if you look at the color filter, it's like, okay, red is there, green is there, blue is there, but here's the deal. What happened of the pixel of the blue? Because again, blue pixel also has to give you data of red. So that you create a mathematical interpolation of what the heck's supposed to be there. We call debayering. This algorithm is debayering, but again, it cannot be done at very high speed at high resolution. So if you want to be like, I want to give Olympics 8K, 120 FPS, a debayering algorithm would be like, bro, I can't process that much data that quickly. So put 3 sensor. Now you have true R, true G, true B, and true color. As long as you mix them properly, you have tangibly awesome quality color. And this is the backbone of many security cameras and many industrial camera used for process analysis. Because if you are studying food and you're like, hey, is the food cooked? You need absolute color certainty. This puppy gives you absolute certainty. So CCDs are still used and 3 CCDs is still used. So either you have to have that because CCD does not have rolling shutter effect, or if you want to use CMOS, because again, high resolution sensors like 4K, these puppy go to full HD. If you need 4K, you need global shutter sensors. You have to have global shutter. Otherwise, this will be very difficult to pull off. And then you need gen lock. What is gen lock? Well, you must have heard of time code. Time code is the idea that you have a video equipment, you may have a separate audio equipment. Now that separate audio equipment will be creating its audio fine, but it will have a clock. Now here's the deal, clocks are very noisy things, meaning they drift. So you'll be like 30 frames per second. It's like, okay, 1 second, 30 slots, 1 second, 1 second is doing that. But here's the your audio recorder is doing that. But generally there is a very good chance, especially if you record for even a few minutes, you will find, hey, wait a minute, why the heck audio recording of my audio recorder is longer than audio recording of my camera, or sometimes vice versa. It's like, wait a minute, they both have the same data, but like somehow audio recorder time is, they went out of sync. We use time code, that's a low grade solution. High grade solution is gen lock. Gen lock simply means you tell the camera, disable your clock, I am gonna drive you. Now what's supposed to be the driving does not matter. All it matters is like how many cameras you have. Let's say you have 40 cameras and you have 20 mic setups and you have 300 LED walls, does not matter. As long as all of them are synced to one clock, and if that clock drifts, no issue, because everything else will drift in sync. It's like basically how all the train wheels, they spin simultaneously. They cannot be like, okay, right side is moving more than less. That will destroy the train. So same thing happens here. So we need gen lock input. Otherwise the LED wall will not sync and output will be garbage. And it does need very precise clock, because be mindful, you are talking about taking a video frame 4 times per second, like 30 frame per second, multiply that by 4, 60 frame per second, multiply that by 4. So you do need very precise clock. Again, that master clock has to be good. Thankfully, we have that technology. And Sony is participating with the technology development of TGI. So Sony is like, okay, again, this sort of technology requires two lovebirds. Basically, it needs camera and it needs LED wall. So these two things have to make love together. So Sony is the camera baby and TGI is the advertisement baby. So Sony has introduced this new feature, quote unquote, from Sony HDC lineup 5500. Now be mindful, does not mean you only have to have this camera. This is the latest and greatest, but you can go back and also use the same system. This was debuted, quote unquote, on FIFA Cup final in 2021. So very recent technology. And camera is going to give you 4 parallel feeds. What does that mean? That simply means your video mixer will get this sort of feed where you can just like slice different advertisements and all that jazz, and it's going to go to different feed distributors, meaning like, hey, this feed is going to India, they will have different servers for that. They're like, hey, this feed is going to Asia, Asia I'm saying basically China, a different feed for that. This feed is going to Europe, different feed for that. You can adjust all of that and all 4 will work simultaneously, meaning it won't be like, oh, wait for this. No. 4 simultaneously, no issue. That's why you do need some GG cameras. Then we come to the LED board part. Now these things have to be very high refresh rate. I'm talking anything, any video frame rate you want 4 times of that. So very high frame rates, because again it has to project 4 images simultaneously. You keep hearing this part of 4. Can it do more? Yes, but there is a point after which if you start to put more, like mathematically it can be done, even clocks can cycle it quite well, but there will be a degradation of quality, because again camera's exposure is going down and down and down and down. So instead of 1/30th of seconds, already 1/30th divided by 4. So it's very short pulses. Now if you're like, hey, what if I do 6 streams? If you're like, dude, it will be like a low light kind of scenario. They will need exponentially high noise in terms of video. So there is a limit. 4 is generally the good compromise. It does not have too much side effects, and it does have enough money making potential that it does justify the cost for it. So 4 is generally chosen, and asymmetric timing is needed, meaning if you have a banner, basically a LED banner, and people are there in the audience, again they want to see the banner. They're like, okay, what about that banner? Again, you charge a lot, because again on location advertising is very expensive. But again, how would you see it if there are 4 of them? You don't. What they do is PWM, pulse width modulation, and that's why I said gen lock is very important. All of that puppy is synced globally, meaning the whole stadium will have one clock that is orchestrating all of this puppy. And asymmetric timing will allow you to have one at longer duration compared to all 3, or basically you're gonna have pulse 1 far more often than you're gonna pulse other 3. Now why the heck 3? Again, 1 you have to show to everyone, including the camera. Another 3 you do not want audience to see, or only want camera to see, as long as it's synced properly. So 1 will be extreme brightness, others would be, or it could be like flash 1, okay, 1, 1, 1, it's like 2, 1, 1, 1. It will keep doing that, like it has timing sequences. So from our eye point of view, it's like we can only see 1. From camera's point of view, as long as it's well synced, it's gonna see all 4 streams parallelly. But again, if the sync breaks, it will not see anything. It's gonna see a smear. at that point in time. So visible to one eye and 3 camera, and external clock syncing is a must. Be mindful, this company TGI is making LED panels, but it's not compulsory to have their own LED panel. As long as you have a high quality LED panel that has gen lock capability, as in like very good syncing capability, it will work. And it doesn't need high brightness for daylight visibility, because be mindful, you're slicing that puppy in 4 segments, so you do need that. And benefit, everything is real, no CGI, like you get true images and true reflections. So all this gives you the magic of having a real feed. There is no CGI, there is no, okay, it's a green light that is like, you know, you are keying out, nothing. It's absolutely real fact, real thing. And our on-site audience also gets to see, normally they do not have, oh, there is a bright flicker here, no. It's like there is an advertisement. Everything is simple. And again, it's a very high requirement. This company want to go into horse racing, and they're like, no, horses do have very high susceptibility to flicker. So this puppy has to flicker so fast that it exceeds the ability for horse eye to discern it out. So it is compulsory requirement. These things have to be fast. And from audience point of view, people are on their point, like again, think of this way, like the players also will freak out. It's like, why the heck all these lights are flickering? They want constant light, or like, you know, normal sort of thing. So for that reason, it's compulsory that flickering happens. Zero. Like unless you have very high speed camera, you should not be able to see all frames properly. And camera will send you 4 parallel streams, meaning you can have footage mixed properly, and all the reflection and occlusions are real. That's the most benefit of, meaning what happens if you put a glass here, it's gonna work. It's not a CG, it's not gonna key out, it's there. What about the shiny helmets? It's gonna reflect exactly the same thing. Let's say people are seeing Subway, but Virgin Galactic is there. What happens to the audience that are seeing this? They're gonna see red reflection on their helmet. Why? It was there when this frame was taken. And what about the people who are seeing that in local region? Again, they're gonna see green reflection on the hoodies, on the helmet specifically. Why? It was green when the frame was taken. So that's the whole point. All the reflection, all the occlusion, so you will not have like cutting issues. It's like perfect. And camera being in motion, meaning you cannot be like, okay, this camera is fixed. No. You can go YOLO on the camera as much as you want. You can even have camera in basically drones. That's what the selling point of that. There is no motion, basically motion limitation or lag limitation. It's like go YOLO on it. So this is the on their advertisement brand. It's like real image. That's true. There is no virtual overlay or things of that nature. That's awesome. Real reflection. I specified helmets are shiny, so they do need good reflection. Zero delay. Again, it does have 1 or 2 delay, because be mindful, the video processor still has to split all the 4 feed coming out of it and to 4 packaged video feed. It does take 1 or 2 frames of like real time delay, but it's like as close to real time as it can be. And it does allow multiple camera. That's another benefit. You do not have like, okay, one camera has to be there. No. As long as you have multiple broadcast cameras, you can, as long as you can sync them properly, as long as they have the technological ability to record at 4x the speed of real time and feed that data properly, which many broadcast camera can easily do, you're gonna have it. And again, for example, in Sony, they had like, one of the setups had 18 parallel cameras. No attachment requirement. The camera is just camera. It's just like data wise you are manipulating the data, but camera is the same camera. And no post processing, meaning you can show Walt Disney ad to the home audience, and you can show fitness club ad on the basically playground people. It can be done. It's magic. It's like once you actually see it, it's like, damn, we're good. Like we are really good. Like we have a LED panel, you look at the camera is giving you 4 data, and you are like, I can only see 1, where are the other 3? And camera is like, I got this. It's amazing. It's like freaking magic. Like we are that good. Like our sensors are became that good in low noise performance. And it does help that these LEDs are freakishly bright. So it does happen. So even in a small pulse, it can saturate the sensor, and sensor got you, fam. And 360 does allow have much better color latitude. So it's magic. I would definitely, and I do expect to see these things in Indian cricket like 2-3 years from now, because be mindful, this technology just came out at the time of pandemic, meaning if pandemic would not have happened, this would have had a much greater adoption. But again, pandemic slowed down everything. So 2021 was the first time this was deployed, and many small regions groups are also jumping in, because it does allow you to amplify your earnings, which does directly translate to more money. So it's a magical technology. So this was my presentation on basically this magic of real world parallel advertising. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment, because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.